So I've been trying to think of a good way to start this review and, you know, try to think of something clever or some really inspirational quote to say, and, you know, filmmaking is blah, blah, blah. But the best way I think I can start it is just by apologizing that it took so long to get this video out. I've had this camera since March. I should have had something out a long time ago. I've been talking about it for ages. You know, why couldn't I just get it out? Circumstances, lots of stuff. But anyways, I'm finally gonna talk about the Terra 6K. I just want to say before we get right into it, I'm not an expert. I do this for a living, yes, but I haven't been doing it for super long. I'm not as experienced as other people. So what I'm gonna say about this are my own thoughts and observations that I've had. They may not be right, they may not be totally accurate, but just take that for what it is. This is my kind of first impressions more than a review of the camera. So I think before I get into this review and I kind of talk about the camera itself, I should give you a little bit of background on me and why we decided to purchase this specific camera system. I'm from the East Coast of Canada. I own a small production company here, and we shoot a lot of web promos. We shoot a lot of stuff for nonprofits, churches, universities, and we shoot some food styling stuff as well. An important thing to know though about us is that a lot of the stuff that we shoot creatively is designed from the ground up by us. So we aren't necessarily guns for hire in a sense of, you know, people hire us just for the camera and we shoot what they want. It's an all-in-one package a lot of the time. They're not saying we don't do that. We do it sometimes, but the majority of the stuff that we shoot is creatively our own stuff. I feel that's important to say because if it was different, if I was doing specifically documentary stuff for other people, I wouldn't have bought this camera system. I wouldn't have taken a risk that it was to buy a relatively unknown camera from, honestly, from China that no one's really ever heard of, and there's not a lot of them kicking around. I needed something that shot higher frame rates, that I could shoot 4K in, and just that was a little bit more cinematic than my Canon C100 that I have right now. So that's where the Terra comes in. Realistically, I'm gonna be honest, we wanted to buy red. I wanted to buy a red Raven and fully kit that out, but the wait time was just too long. When I was looking to purchase in early February, of 2017, we needed the camera in a month and a half. We had a shoot coming up, so I couldn't wait till, I think the pre-order time at that time was like expected in November. I was like, I can't wait, I can't fork out that much money and then wait 9 months for it to come out. That is one of the primary reasons we moved to the Terra. Really good bang for your buck. It seemed like it was good. The small amount of footage that I'd seen from it looked really promising. But yeah, that's kind of who we are, what we do, and why we had decided to purchase the Terra. Okay, so now with that out of the way, I should show you the camera. So this is the Terra. You've probably seen lots of pictures of it online. Kind of nice. I wish I had something like this when I had bought the camera to see how big it was physically in the hand, you know, have someone kind of tell me what it felt like. And honestly, it feels really good. It's a solid little camera. It's super tiny. Really good form factor. I mean, there's a couple things that I'll get into that I don't necessarily love about it, not make or break, but yeah. So top view, underneath I've got I have the Pro package. So if you go on their website, you can order just the brain if you want, and it has an HDMI output and a couple other things. The Pro package gives it the V-mount back, XLR inputs, extra D-taps, HDSDI, Genlock, timecode, and DC out. So for the little bit extra money that it is, it's definitely worth getting. If you're gonna spend the money anyways, you might as well just get the full kit and caboodle. So let me give you a little bit of closer up look of it too here. So you can see the Pro back module. I have a V-mount battery on it right now. Oh, come off now. There we go. These are their 120 watt hour. Really, really fantastic. They're great batteries. I can't say enough good things about them. They're small, they're light, they've got lots of power. I can run the full camera system with an external monitor, a wireless rig for at least 3.5 hours without changing batteries. I have 3 of them, so they last me all day, even if I don't have power. Back on there. That's the best thing about this battery system is how flush it sits. It just sits on there, super nice. Like you can see right there. So I've got the 1 terabyte mag in it right now. I have a 500 gig as well. I mean, shooting, everyone knows shooting at high frame rates and eats up space really, really quick. But yeah, it's a much better, quicker look at it. I think it's also important for me to kind of give you some of the top things that I really like about it and some of the things I dislike about it, because let's be honest, no camera system is perfect. It doesn't matter how nice of an image it is, there's gonna be little things that, you know, everyone has their own personal preference that is gonna either bug them or they wish it was a little different. So here's some of the top things that I love and dislike about the camera. I love the form factor, it's great. I got lots of I/O for everything that I ever would need. I love how small it is and compact. If I strip it right down and I just power it with DC, it's tiny. It's almost, you know, a little smaller than my C100 even. So that's just fantastic. Really lightweight too. It's easy to walk around with in hand. Of course, once you build it up quite a bit, yes, it does get a little heavier, but you can build it as much as you want. You're not starting with this just giant lead brick. I love a lot of the shooting modes. I love the high speed stuff that I can get out of it. It looks really, really good. At least to my eye. One of my favorite shooting modes is the golden 3K mode. I wasn't really sure what that meant when I read it on the site, but once I started shooting with it, it's great. It's super, super wide. It's like 3800 by 1600, I think. So it's really, 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 really wide screen. And it just looks really great. You know, you can shoot up to 75 frames a second with it. It's just really, really smooth. It's great for B-roll. Which a lot of what I shoot is B-roll, just going over narratives or interviews or whatever. So I love using it for that and then delivering in a wider screen format. It just looks really, really cinematic. The image itself also looks really cinematic. I found it great to work with so far. A couple things that I don't like about it. As good as the image is, I find in low light, it's noisy. And that is tough for me coming from the C100. Because the C100 works so great in low light. I don't think that with this camera, I can go anywhere out of the native ISO and I won't find noise. So that's a little bit disconcerting. Firmware update could fix that maybe, I don't know, but that's just something that you need to keep in mind when you're shooting. It's not a run and gun camera. About 2 months ago, the camera just stopped working on me. I was shooting some food stuff for a friend and we were shooting high speed stuff and it just died. It just wouldn't work anymore. I couldn't tell you why. I was emailing back and forth with Kinefinity and eventually we just had to send the brain back to China, which is super unfortunate because it's in China and I'm in Canada. From start to finish, repair, you know, me emailing them, sending it off to them, whatever, it was probably at least a month and a half. So I was without this camera that I bought earlier that year, my primary shooting camera, for a month and a half. Thankfully, we didn't have any really big shoots that time. I could do everything with the C100. It was fine that way. Kinefinity was great though. They're really good at getting back to you right away, even though they're 12 hours ahead of you. So sometimes there's a day wait, but they're always really prompt with their responses. They want to try to help. They want to try to fix it. I always get replies to my emails. And what they did is they just replaced the whole brain for me. They just said, you know what? Send it back. We're gonna take a look at it and we'll just give you a brand new brain. So that was really fantastic. It just sucks that the only place to send it is to Beijing. So with that being said, there are ups and downs about this camera. But I'm, for the most part, pretty impressed with it. It's doing everything I needed to do. It's pretty great. No, it's not a Red. No, it's not an Alexa, but I didn't pay that amount of money for it, right? Like the bang for your buck that you're getting with this camera, if you're looking for something quick that you want to be able to mount onto your gimbal, or you want to do some high speed stuff with, or you want to try some stuff out and you're not willing to invest $60,000 in a camera system, this would work for you. Especially if you're shooting a lot of the same stuff I am. You know, if you're shooting a lot of B-roll, maybe interview stuff, experimental things, you know, short films, this camera system would be great. If I was shooting more docu stuff, I definitely wouldn't buy this camera. If I was shooting a lot of high-end commercials and film stuff, I wouldn't have bought this camera. Because that's not what it's meant for, I don't think. You know, it can do some of that stuff, it's just more difficult to do. Again, those are just my thoughts. I can be wrong, and it's all personal opinion, and you know, so yeah, I really hope that helps you, whoever's watching this. If you're looking at buying one or you just wanted to know more about the camera, I hope that gives you something to work with. I wish there had been something like this when I was first purchasing the camera. But there wasn't. There was really no footage out there, and it's slowly growing and getting better, which is awesome. Because I think it's, you know, it's great to see other camera manufacturers getting in and people taking risks and trying them out and seeing how it works. I'm hoping really soon to have out a second part to this review slash thoughts, where we'll have some side-by-side footage comparison set up in a bit of a studio space. So light it to the best of my ability. You know, again, not an expert, trying, learning like everybody else. But the whole idea is to have some side-by-side footage of the Terra with hopefully an Alexa Mini and the C100 and maybe even a DSLR, just to give you guys a look of what that image, you know, looks like. And hopefully I'll be able to send you the actual raw files, a Dropbox link, so you can download and play with it yourself and just see what you think about it. I really wish, like I said, there'd been something like that when I had purchased. I don't think it would have dissuaded me any from it, but it would have been nice to have. Like, it's always nice to test some stuff out. I don't know of anywhere where you can go and rent this camera right now. It's not like, you know, I can go to Lens Pro to Go or be like, oh, Kinefinity Terra, I'll get one shipped to me in a week kind of a thing. It's not like a Red or a Canon. So again, I hope this was helpful. If you want, follow me on Instagram. I'll link it below. I post pictures and videos and stuff of me working with all the time. I'd love to interact with you. If you have any more questions about it, comment there. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.